Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon where you live around the world. As is normal for me, and as I've alluded to in the past in other videos, good enough is sometimes not good enough. I've come across a way to generate a dome structure of this type that has the flush sides in that plane, and we're pretty close, but there was a few issues around the length of this strut here that left me unsatisfied. So if you look in the plan view, this is a plan view and elevation view. They're actually two different scales, but I've rescaled them to such that they follow the measurements as written as close as possible. Now, it's this strut here that I'm talking about, that it's shorter than this one here. That itself is not the problem, but just that sometimes when we draw the domes, this looks particularly short. Now, often what will happen, or what does happen, is that when we create the strut or the surface, I would want to see it larger. And in this example, if I just hide this for a moment, the dome was created from this drawing such that it had the point where that strut is created away from the point where I would normally create it. Following? And it turned out that between the point here, which is predetermined by the dome and this version here, and the way that I draw it, it's the same, and this one is predetermined more or less depending upon where you want to lift or lower this floor plane, which creates the length of the leg. It turned out from this particular exercise that it was a line drawn between those two, it was halfway. Now, I think that may be more than just a happy coincidence. And this is a very large dome. As we can see here, it says it's got a span of on the base of about 9 or 10 meters, and this strut here, or the intersection point of these two faces, is 2.8 meters. Where we've got if I were to build it according to my preferences, and there's no hard and fast rule, the length of this leg, it would have been 500 millimeters shorter, creating that disproportionate look that I was concerned about. Not only is this strut going to be better, or this one here, sorry, in the current example, better proportioned, but it would alter these other two surfaces as well, because it would have to. The fact that I created my version on how to generate a dome from this point on the rotated 45-degree the circle that was rotated, that had been rotated around the 45. Oh boy, that's and as said, that doesn't require it to be there. It's just that it's a good place to start. It was also just as logic that we have this line direct us to the length of the leg. The length of the leg is irrelevant, but having a manner or an approach that we can repeatedly draw a dome with consistencies, this actually meets that criteria. It would be consistent from drawing to drawing, and while not as elegant as I think mine is, where we can choose a point on the rotated circle, this is the one on the 45, it meets these other criteria of having these struts balanced. So if I remove this again, hide that, hide the measurements, we know that that's about 500 millimeters longer than the version I would have drawn, and we look at the length of the strut from that point to there, down in the bottom corner we can see the length is 3991. Rotate round here, just over 3 meters, so there's very, very little difference in the lengths of this. So 9 mils there, 13 there, so we can say it's not much difference. There's only probably 20 or 30 millimeters difference, and that could have been my drawing from the photo taken from the internet, and as likely it would be 50% of that distance. So that's actually an interesting observation. And I may have a little bit of a fiddle with this with different points where we can lift or lower this plane, the base, according to my angled or rotated plane here, but create the intersection point rather than off that point on the circle at 50%. That would extend the length of the strut, certainly alter the surfaces here, but I'll do that and see what comes of it. Anyway, I'll get back to you on that one, and I will see you in another video shortly, as the case will now turn out to be. Okay, bye.